New Orleans. The Big Easy. Sweet Lady Gumbo. Old Swampy.
I still don't understand, Clancy. Why give up your job as a small-town police chief to set up a detective shop in New Orleans?
Oh, lots of reasons, I suppose. Got kicked off the force, for one thing.
For massive corruption.
Exactly.
Yeah. As for me, I was born and bred here in the mean streets of New Orleans.
Welcome back to What the Hell Happened to Them? Julia Roberts saga continues forward. I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill, and joining me this week, as always, my co-host, a tiny ant, Joe Vekeman. Hello. Tinier than a regular ant, before you ask. Yes. Of course, on the audio boards is Lev Van Rensselaer, keeping us sound so slippery smooth, reminding me to remind you that you can email us at whathappenedtothemcast@gmail.com with any of your questions, comments, queries, and hot takes to our antics. And of course, our sponsor this week is Ham Taro, the only ham that is cute enough to eat. This week, we get to talk about Mystic Pizza 2, now with less pizza. No, that's not the name of the title. I'm sorry. It's Joe's favorite movie, Magnolia. No, that's not the title either. It is Ocean's 8 minus the heist. No, that doesn't sound right either.
What bit is
White
this?
People Barbershop? Joe, what movie are we doing this week?
Beauty Shop. Wait, I wanted to join in on it. No, we did Steel Magnolias, a movie I've never seen but always been very afraid of because it looked boring. I don't know. Or
that
maybe
is
like
fair.
When I was younger, I was like, oh man, that movie's for girls.
Yeah.
I don't know. One of those things. But now watching
Yes,
it, let me tell you,
indeed.
I cried.
No, surprisingly, gripping movie. I was surprised how much I enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
But Joe, before we get any deeper, let's go over a plot synopsis, shall we?
A young beautician newly arrived in a small Louisiana town. Let me tell you, that's supposed to be the Daryl Hannah character. She's not the protagonist of this movie, is she? They started out like she is, but I don't think she is.
Well, this is very much an ensemble piece.
Yes, I agree. But
yes.
I would say Daryl Hannah's character is like the lesser of the ensemble. But they wanted.
I mean, she starts off strong and then very quickly kind of falls.
She just
back.
goes right to the wayside. Very strange.
Yeah.
Anyways, she finds work at the local salon where a small group of women share a close bond of friendship and welcome her into the fold. I guess, yeah. I mean, not really. That's a terrible synopsis.
I mean, it's sort of a tough movie to synopsis.
Yes.
Without giving away important things.
Yes.
And also having it be very long. So I don't mind that they took a crack at it with that. It sets you up for the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. The tagline's better. Ready?
What is it?
The funniest movie ever to make you cry.
That's a pretty good one. Pretty generic, but all right.
Yeah. It's obvious. But not obvious if you have no idea what this movie's about, which was me at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, it took a bit.
Yeah. I had no idea what was going on. And like,
you had no idea what was going on. A wedding was happening.
Yeah, I knew the wedding was happening. But as soon as like Julia Roberts had her diabetes spell, I was like, uh-oh. What's going on here? And I was like half watching it at a point because I was like, okay, nothing's really happening. What's going on? And then the music starts getting weirder. And like, I looked up because I was like organizing my criterion. So lame, but I was.
Wow, you weren't even fully paying attention to this movie.
And I was like, I'm not missing anything. I'm just listening to the dialogue. Nothing's happening. They're just in a salon. And then I looked up, and then Julia Roberts is having a fucking attack from her diabetes. And I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, give her juice. And like, they're trying to force the juice in her mouth. And I'm like, oh no, what's happening? Is she dying? And I was so freaked out. And I was like, oh, no. Don't do this to Julia. She just came in. It was like, what was it? 25 minutes into the movie? It's not too long.
Yeah, you were afraid she was dying and that the only solution to her dying was juice?
Yeah, they were going to give her orange juice. And then one of the girls is like, no, give her a cookie. And they're like, don't give her a cookie, give her juice. I love the Southern accents in this. Let me tell you, the MVP of the movie, Dolly Parton. Never seen a Dolly picture. Love Dolly.
In the original stage play, the first couple of tours, do you know who played that character?
Tell me.
Famed character actress Margot Martindale.
Oh my God, that's so good. Why didn't she play it again? I know Dolly's a bigger star.
I mean, because Dolly Parton's drawing butts in seats.
Yes.
Nobody knew who Margot Martindale was at the time.
Well, this could have been her role. Everyone could have been. She could have not been like that girl in that movie. She could have been like Margot fucking Martindale.
You actually had a pretty stacked cast, so I'm not,
I mean, the cast is great.
I don't know if Dolly Parton was the only draw to your movie, right? This is sort of a who's who of great female actresses in cinema history.
Sally Field.
Yeah.
Love Sally Field. And
Sally
I had to
Field,
look it
Shirley
up today because I talked to my grandma about it. I was like, oh, did you ever see this movie? And she's like, no. And then I told her, I was like, that's crazy because it's just.
It feels like the perfect grandma movie.
It is really a perfect grandma movie. And she was like, Sally Field, she's not, aren't Julia Roberts and her at the same age? And I'm like, well, no, they're definitely different ages. And then I looked it up. They're exactly 21 years apart. And I believe Julia Roberts is like 21 years old in this, right?
That's crazy. Sally Field looking very good in this movie for 42.
Great. Yeah.
Man.
It's weird
we
that
should
she has a
all
21-year-old
age so
daughter.
well.
Right?
Oh, that would be so nice.
Crazy stuff. I loved it. A good movie.
Yeah. I guess I can understand you being a little bored for a movie that's, they clearly were very faithful to the play in a lot of instances, right? That's why that barber shop scene or
beauty shop,
very male approach to that. That's why that beauty salon scene is so long. But I don't know. I guess they're not directing that very well. I mean, they're getting their very complicated coverage, which is its own struggle. But yeah, ultimately, very by the books. Get everybody's close-ups, make sure we know where everybody is in relation to each other. Mm-hmm. But there was something about the conversation I did enjoy that, it let me know who all these people were. I'm still trying to figure out who's who related to what their kind of shared history is, what their background is. So it was able to keep me engaged. But there are, in the stuff between these play scenes, he does kind of get a little creative. Like the opening shot with Dolly Parton, where she's yelling at her husband, is just this one take, but it's got multiple layers in the plane. And so it starts off and the focus is in the foreground, and then Sam Shepard leaves. And then everything kind of happens then in the background. Then she has to go answer the door, and then there's Daryl Hannah in, the classic movie trope of very beautiful woman that will ugly up by...
I mean, I've never been a big fan of Daryl Hannah, but
by blowing her hair and putting big glasses on her.
Unrecognizable in this movie.
And then, of course, she has the makeover in the second act of the play. And then when she goes Christian, they kind of ugly her again for some reason.
Yeah.
But obviously, I don't know. I saw her come to the door and I go, well, she's still a beautiful woman. They just put glasses on her. They not another teen to movie her.
Yeah. 10 years before that.
Yeah, I know. They were the trendsetters.
So
well
weird.
played, movie.
I think it just took a little bit of time for me, but once I was in, I was locked in, and I was like, this is great. This is great, engaging cast. Yeah, you were talking about the direction. I really liked how we can skip a little ahead. I hope where Julia Roberts, after she has the baby, and she's already got that looming thing where she wanted to have a kid, and then she knows that she might die from it because of her type 1 diabetes.
Yeah, that reveal scene where she's having an episode and she's like, let's go call daddy because she needs his help. And then we cut to something else. And when we come back, we have this loud sound of the food overcooking. The baby's just crying. It's nonstop sound as this man's trying to figure out what's going on. Very stressful. Very, it's all kind of one angle. The camera sort of follows him and then we reveal her on the ground. Smart choice there. All the hospital vignettes as everybody's waiting. That was really great tableau shots and all of that.
Yeah.
The director mostly brought his A game, but I guess, right, if you're doing a play adaptation, you really want to keep that going. You kind of don't want to over direct those scenes.
Oh my God.
Those are performance-based scenes. And so get your basic coverage there because your cast can clearly hold their own. They're all terrific.
There was no over dramatic music playing in the background during those hospital scenes, nothing to really schmaltz it up. And it's just kind of underplayed in my eyes because it was just oh, hey, we're just gonna show you that she's failing right now. Like all her vitals are going down, but like we're not gonna be like, oh, watch the monitor just go slowly to like this the line and then the no, it was just very well understated, and I was like, wow, and it broke me. I was crying. I was like, oh wow, and I even knew it was happening because I told you I read ahead.
Yeah, that heart monitor sound effect like didn't even happen. Like all cliches were avoided.
It was so good.
It would have been so easy to overstate this movie. This movie where, I mean, basically every cancer movie does that.
Yeah.
Like Rent. Rent does that with AIDS. Like it's just I mean, that's a musical, but it's bombastic and it's like overly schmaltzy and saccharine. And this movie is just like, here you go. I think that is, like the script for being a play, the script actually feels almost like very modern world cinema script. We have a lot of ellipses. We're not really given that much information. We have to sort of deduce it. Like, what are the relationships between these people? This whole subplot with Dolly Parton and Sam Shepard is like 3 scenes. And we just sort of get there. And we're left to fill in a lot of the gaps. We have to be active participants in this movie. It's all. I would almost say the script is sort of ahead of its time.
Yeah,
it's crazy to say about a play script. Crazy.
Look at this little surprise run we have so far, right?
I know.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Very impressed.
I hope. I mean, our audiences seem to be pretty consistent from the rock era, so that's good. That our fan base wasn't just rock fans, or maybe we lost some and gained Julia fans, but. I hope they're enjoying these movies. They're a surprising delight.
I'll take the Julia fans over the rock fans any day.
Is this the first time one of our actors that we follow died in a movie? Did The Rock or Sandler ever die in a movie?
I mean, it's not a spoiler anymore because the movie's been out for a while. But Uncut Gems.
Oh, yes, of course. Uncut Gems.
But I don't think Dwayne's ever really died because I mean, I guess he died in Southland Tales when the fucking
that's true. Okay,
blow up.
I mean, that's a pretty good trilogy, right? Of the 3 movies they died in. Uncut Gems, Southland Tales, and Steel Magnolias. That would be quite a triple feature. We should rent out a theater and show those 3 movies back to back.
I mean, we should definitely start with Steel Magnolias. So, like, build up to it because I mean, this movie is like compared to those, it's very quaint.
Well, don't you think we need like a little break?
Yes, intermissions definitely. Where you
could start at Uncut Gems, right? They're really, and then you can kind of let them down a little bit with Steel Magnolias, and then you can give them a big question mark with Southland Tales.
Okay, yes, I like that approach much more. Yeah, and like a little 5-minute interlude. Where
I think you could do like a thing where you talk about the movies like a little bit beforehand. Mm-hmm. What made them special? What they did in their era? What the filmmakers were going for? You know, you could do that for a bit. People could get popcorn or go to the bathroom if they want. And then, you just go right into it.
Yeah.
Genius.
And what a trilogy.
Hear that, movie theaters? Genius. The What the Hell Happened to Them movie tour.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Let's do it.
Do you know what movie we're watching next week?
No, what is it?
Pretty Woman.
Oh, our title film. All right.
Yeah. Holy hell.
Right. Well, I mean, that makes sense, right? So she does this, and then, like, it's off to start. When Julia Roberts was 7th billed in this movie, I thought... Oh, we're not getting very much of her again this week. But she's in the movie right at the beginning, and then after the wedding part of the play is done, I thought, oh, I guess we're done with her now, and we move on. No, she still shows up. She's a big factor in this movie.
Yeah.
It's just that everybody, it's a really big ensemble of really big names, and she was like the freshest face among them, I guess.
Let's look into this movie a little bit. All right, let me tell you some stuff.
So did you see at the beginning the opening TriStar credit? And then I thought, what happened to them? Are they still around?
With the what is it, the Pegasus?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah, it takes
I love
us back,
that guy
right?
so much. I call him Wilbur because I believe in one of the Look Who's Talkings that horse talks.
What?
Yeah, and it's just like, hey guys, and I'm just like, oh man,
it's just doing the horse from Charlotte's Web.
I think so.
Okay.
It's funny though. I think it's the second one. It has to be the second one, the one with Roseanne.
Okay.
Can you imagine Roseanne and Bruce Willis as brother and sister? Well, that movie does it for you.
Clearly casting towards its era. Mm-hmm.
Bruce Willis just finished Moonlighting, and Roseanne is on Roseanne.
Yeah, this huge show. Okay. Did you look up TriStar? Because I kind of want to now.
Oh yeah, let's. hold on. I just saw TriStar Pictures right here. Yes, TriStar.
Oh,
All
look at some of these movies they released. Right,
Baby Driver,
Terminator 2,
Terminator 2.
Hook that we'll be doing later,
Yes.
Jumanji, Matilda,
Starship Troopers.
Godzilla, the 1998 version.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Baby Driver. Well, I guess they're still around then.
Yeah, they're making movies once in a while.
Well, they were just a distributor of this film.
Jerry Maguire. Hell yeah.
I had to learn a lot about diabetes after watching this film. Because my grandparents both gave themselves diings in my childhood.
I
don't remember
that to themselves?
Yeah, they did.
What a gift.
They ate a lot of devil dogs and things like that, perhaps too much. And it just was, they had some issues, but it never felt life-threatening. Mm-hmm. And then never had like these tremors like Julia Roberts was having, and I just thought like, this can't be what diabetes is about, is it? But yeah, back then they had a harder time being able to easily regulate it for people. The author of the play, his sister actually went through all of the Julia Roberts stuff. She had bad diabetes. She wanted to have a kid despite advice not to have it. Her kidney failed. She was given a kidney donation, but it still didn't help. And then she died. And then he wrote a short story about it so that he could read it to her son and tell her what a great woman she was. And then he turned it into a play in the process of 10 days.
Wow.
That's crazy, right?
It is crazy. Can I give you some crazy information as well?
Yeah.
Julia Roberts and Sam Shepard would play lovers in The Pelican Brief 4 years later.
Oh, my God. So they're in like 3 movies together. This is her Kevin Hart. This is her Drew Barrymore.
God. Sam Shepard is her Kevin Hart. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go. For all you film fans out there, that's pretty good.
Wait, here it is. Wait, no. I found something yesterday that was like the reason why they called it Steel Magnolias was because they're like, these girls are like tough as steel, but they're like as delicate as a magnolia flower or something like that.
Yeah, they have an interesting line at the end where Sally Fields is like, my husband, her son, they couldn't handle it. They were too fragile, and so they left after we pulled the plug. But I stayed and watched it the whole time. And I was like, damn, good for you, movie. Like, that is an interesting kind of thing to bring up and kind of turn on its head in an era of tough man action star movies. Movie also passes the Bechdel test.
Well, I sure hope so.
Yeah. It happened a lot through the film, but the first time was near immediately when Daryl Hannah is applying for the job at the beauty salon. In typical 80s fashion, everybody has big hair, and Dolly Parton, in fact, has a big hair beauty salon where they make it.
Oh, and she's like getting Dolly all ready for like the day.
I mean, everybody's just making everybody have big hair except for Sally Field, who has to have the mom haircut.
Yeah, the little hair. That's cute.
Then Julia Roberts gets it, and she is just as sad as I am that is the haircut she has.
Oh, when Julia gets her haircut?
Gets her boy do.
Oh, God, she was devastated. I'm like,
I know.
How does she get her hair back for Pretty Woman? Must be all exciting.
I mean, I don't know. I bet that could be a wig she has on.
Yeah, it has to be. That hair is so big. I've only seen like a poster for it, but I'm like, that can't be real.
Yeah.
It's too big. Here's a little trivia for you.
Yep.
Meg Ryan was initially under contract to play Shelby, the Julia Roberts role.
Yeah.
But the producers let her out to play Sally in When Harry Met Sally.
Oh, well, I don't know. Usually you hear stories about actors. You usually hear stories about actors turning down roles that would have been really big hits to play really crappy roles. But I don't know. That's a pretty good move.
That's a good move. Winona Ryder was originally offered the role of Shelby. Although the producers were charmed by Ryder, they ultimately considered her too young for the part, which is strange because she's only 2.5 years younger than Julia.
Yeah, and Julia actually feels older than 21 in this movie.
Yeah.
She's just got a very kind of grounded, perhaps mature presence to her.
Yeah.
Even in the other movie, maybe in that Satisfaction movie,
she
kind of plays it young.
Yeah.
But I don't know, there's just some sort of heft to her. I don't know. She feels older.
She looks like an adult.
Yeah. She looks like that. She sounds like an adult. carries herself like an adult. She marries, in this movie, what looks like a budget version of John Krasinski.
Okay,
And
well,
how you know this movie is old is they're really excited. The top wedding gift they expect to get is a VCR.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, you know how expensive those things were back then?
Yes, I know. Like, that's how you know the movie's old, where they're like, yes, I can't wait to push a button to rewind tapes.
Yeah, I believe she married Dylan McDermott. That's the actor you're thinking of. The budget John Krasinski.
Budget John Krasinski.
John Krasinski was a baby when this movie came out.
And then Daryl Hannah talks about her sad kind of marriage with her husband's gambling decks and she runs off. And Dolly Parton's like, I wish you had said something sooner. And I thought, you just met her 2 hours ago where she was applying for a job. Why would she bring this up?
The budget on this movie, you want to take a guess?
I don't know. This is a big cast, but I'm trying to keep like $9 in my back of my mind.
Yeah, think of the stars. Got a lot of stars. You got Oscar winners in this movie.
Yeah.
Sally Field.
I don't know, 20 million?
15 million.
I was going to say 15. I thought it was too low.
Do you want to take a guess at what this made worldwide?
36 million.
Wow. Really underestimating the power of these ladies. $96 million.
Holy crap. And that's like a bajillion in 1989 bucks.
$89. That's a lot of money. That's a couple $100 million.
Could you imagine? This movie could not be that successful if it were made now.
This movie would either be on some like streaming service or it would be like this big cable event or whatever.
Despite the fact that we are now in kind of the golden age of female protagonists and women empowerment in our films now, this movie would be like Little Women. It would just kind of like be talked about for a little bit, watched by some.
You think this would come out in a theater right now? Maybe. This is either like a Netflix movie or an HBO series.
Or maybe it's like, I don't know, like a slow rollout kind of thing. But yeah, Netflix actually feels right this day.
Terrible. I hate that. I
know.
I don't like Netflix. Although I really enjoyed The Mitchells versus the Machines, which they didn't own. That's a Sony thing, but they bought it. Sony, what are you doing? That movie was a money maker. That movie would have made tons of money. It's a fun family film. There's no family films out right now.
They spent a lot of money. They went in a lot of debt to make all these films that they couldn't throw in a theater that they're sitting on. I bet at some point they're just like, all right, what do we think are the weakest links? We got to at least recoup some money to pay off these bills.
Yeah, terrible idea. I love that. I would say you should watch that. Not that long. It's
probably not going to do that.
It's about 100 minutes long. It's fun.
Yeah, not really a fun guy.
Okay, well, it's about this young woman, I guess, because she's going to college. She wants to make movies, and she's all about cinema. And the way she makes cinema, the art in this movie, the art is so beautiful. All the animation, it's so beautiful to look at. It's like a mixture of like 3D and 2D.
How do they fit the 2D in?
You should watch it and find out. Watch 10 minutes of it. It's on Netflix. You have Netflix. Watch 10 minutes of it. I promise you will enjoy that 10 minutes at least.
I don't like encouraging them.
It's a good movie. And it was annoying because my whole family watched the movie before me. And I was like, you couldn't wait?
And they said, no, Daddy, you are lower than dirt to us.
Exactly.
You are the Al Bundy of this group.
It's just me and the dog watching it.
Yes. So anyway, I'm much more impressed that this movie was so successful in 1989.
Yes.
Speaking of Married with Children, young Sally Field looks like Amanda Bearse at this time.
Is that the neighbor?
Yeah.
Do you think people know that actress's name?
No, it's me and maybe some 40-year-olds that listen to this podcast.
Yeah, I just want to go through the cast because this is just a great cast. Top billed: Sally Field, Dolly Parton, Shirley MacLaine, Daryl Hannah, Olympia Dukakis, Julia Roberts, Tom Skerritt, Dylan McDermott, Kevin J. O'Connor. Kevin J. O'Connor, do you know who that is? He's just a character actor who's been around forever. He looks exactly the same as he does in this movie.
Does he play Daryl Hannah's beau?
I believe so. Yes.
Trying to think who else he could play. Like no other males have speaking roles in this film.
Well, Sam Shepard, Tom Skerritt.
Yes, I forgot. Yeah, Sam Shepard, who says like 3 lines.
Well, Kevin J. O'Connor plays Daniel Day-Lewis's brother in There'll Be Blood.
Oh, he's been around. Okay.
Yeah. The mysterious brother that just shows up out of nowhere.
Yes, that's right.
It's so great. Movie's under 2 hours. I love it.
Just barely, but it does clear that poll. I like Daryl Hannah choosing to wear a white dress at Julia Roberts' wedding. Very bold choice. We did that in Real Love.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we did. We had the crazy
lady. Was it a nod to this movie?
We had the crazy lady put on a white dress at the Jess's character's wedding.
The crazy lady?
Yeah, the crazy lady, played by Katie Calori.
Yeah.
At the time, billed as Katie O'Connor. We had the decision kind of a day or two before that, like, what would be something that this character would wear, and we came up with, well, she would just wear a white dress.
Wow.
Just draw attention to herself. I don't know if it was intentional. It doesn't seem to be on Daryl Hannah's part, especially since she didn't have a dress and Dolly Parton just gives her anything, but I wonder why they did that. I was surprised how old Cherry Coke was. I had no idea it had been around for that long. I just don't remember seeing it until like 2003. Cherry Coke.
2003. Everybody loves Cherry Coke.
I just don't remember it at all in my childhood until like I was in middle school. And then I was like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah. I think my grandma bought it once by mistake when I was younger, and I went to go have it. I'm like, what's this?
Yeah.
It's so sweet.
And they had like vanilla Coke and I don't know.
Yeah. Vanilla. I had
stuff.
a vanilla run for a little while. I stopped it though.
Let me tell you how much I love this armadillo cake.
God, and they're like, and it's red velvet cake.
Yes, love it. Love it when they cut it. Love how it looks.
It's a
Genius.
good gag.
Yeah.
Listen to this though. So the home media little portion on Wikipedia says this: the film was released on VHS on June 19th, 1990. That's a good turnaround because I remember VHS take forever back then to come out, and on DVD July 25th, 2000, allowing the film to gross a further $40 million.
Very big movie.
Holy shit. So the overall gross with the DVD and VHS sales was $135 million. Ooh, I didn't know that. The film was released on Blu-ray through the boutique label Twilight Time, which is great. I've been buying those out of print Blu-rays on eBay lately.
Okay.
Very, very nice. But it's gone out of print. And then I guess they released a 30th anniversary Blu-ray last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's a failed TV sequel pilot.
Yes, I saw that. It was a 2-hour pilot. Yeah, you don't see those much anymore. Especially for like a what would have been a half-hour show. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, 1990. That's a quick turnaround.
And then there's a Queen Latifah version too, more recently.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was going to watch that too, but I didn't have enough time. Or I didn't make enough time.
We'll get there. Yeah, we'll watch it at some point.
Oh, okay. Bonus.
Yeah, why not?
It is exactly where I thought this would go at that time. It's a Lifetime TV movie.
I've never been to a wedding where all the guests were such capable dancers.
Wow. Okay.
Very impressive.
Do you think you're a capable dancer?
No. I don't think I've ever danced at a wedding.
Really?
No, not my thing.
I danced at a wedding and I was horrible, but it didn't matter because I don't remember it.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I never get drunk, so I'm not in a position to dance at a wedding.
Yeah. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Single. I was a single guy at this wedding. Not trying to like dance with anybody in particular, but I was just like I got to a certain point of being drunk that I was just like, hey guys, I don't care that this bar costs money to buy drinks. Drinks are on me because I was the best man at the wedding. So I was like, oh yeah, and I took care of like the whole family.
You're the best man? Whose wedding was this?
My friend Zach's.
I remember that guy. Yeah.
We had a good time.
Well, we go to the winter part, right, when we go to our second act of the play. The director loves pulling that bokeh. He loves finding it everywhere in these Christmas lights. Dolly Parton's husband's name is Spud.
Yeah, Spud. That's Sam Shepard, right?
Name. Spud Jones.
Spud, what a great name.
Yeah. And she had a crazy name, too. It was like Turvey?
Yeah, Truvy.
Truvy Jones. That is a female detective name, if I ever heard one.
Yeah.
Would you like to see Dolly Parton as like a hard-boiled detective in Louisiana?
Absolutely. With that southern drawl thing that she does?
Turvy Jones, P.I.
Yeah. I'm just here to solve a mystery.
Yeah. She sings a song maybe at the end. It reminds me of that Simpsons spin-off Showcase episode where Skinner goes to Louisiana. to become a detective, and like Chief Wiggum goes with him. Do you remember that at all?
A little.
That's a great one. So here's the thing: as advanced as this movie is, probably because it's a play, though, the acting's still like Hollywood big, which is fine because we're used to it. And it doesn't really feel big to an audience watching this type of movie. But for as modern as that script was, it was interesting that the acting was just a bit big. But it probably is why she would later go on to be a Hollywood star, because Hollywood eats up that kind of acting.
Yeah.
Really telegraphs what they're feeling. Julia Roberts' hair giving her that like David Bowie look. Yes. I wonder if that's what she was going for.
Do you think like she was wearing a wig before she got the haircut or whatever, like in the movie? So she was like, no, this is my hair right now.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And the director was like, oh, okay, well, I guess we can make it part of the movie. And in the movie, we're going to be like, you don't like this hair.
Yeah.
Even though this is your real hair, you're not going to like it in the movie. And yeah.
That's good acting.
Yeah.
She really didn't like that hair.
I mean, she's like about to cry when she sees it.
Yeah, I've been in that mood before.
Oh, God.
Another way we can tell this movie is old. It is so old, in the hospital scenes, they are smoking.
I didn't notice that. Wow.
Yeah.
I guess I've just been watching a lot of smoky movies lately. What have I been watching?
Like a bunch of Gene Hackman movies from the 70s.
No. I've actually kind of pivoted to John Cassavetes and Jenna Rollins movies.
Oh, yeah, John Cassavetes. Huge smoker, drinker.
Yeah, very big. Yeah, especially with the drinking.
I bet he's drinking while he's driving a car. He doesn't give a shit.
God damn. I watched, I think, what was it, on Sunday or Monday? I watched Minnie and Moskowitz with Seymour Castle and Jenna Rollins with Tanya. I don't know if there's much smoking in that movie, but at the beginning of the movie, I think he's drinking. Seymour Castle's drinking a little bit, but like Jenna Rollins is hanging out with this other lady she likes, and they're just getting wasted. and she's hanging out with this woman that's like maybe 20 or 30 years older than her. I'm like, Jenna Rollins, what are you doing? She's not that old. Why is she hanging out with this like old like grandma lady? It was fun.
Yeah, interesting.
Good movie.
Casting there.
Have you seen it?
I've not seen it yet. No.
Definitely worth seeking out if you can ever find any John Cassavetes movies. Anything that's not on Criterion is impossible to find.
Interesting.
Let me tell you.
We'll just have to wait till they slowly go through them. The angry lady in this movie, I sort of like what they did with her, because you could have very easily made this two-dimensional character, but despite being like the old grump of the neighborhood, she's still like in the flock with these women.
You talking about Shirley MacLaine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when the chips are down, like when they're talking about, like when they're all getting the mother to be on board with the pregnancy, like even she is just like, it's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. Right? The most negative person in the whole movie. The funeral happens. She's like nice to the husband that she's been angry at since the beginning of the movie. A very three-dimensional character. One of the most interesting in the film. Mm-hmm. She has a great line at the beauty shop where she's like, I'm not reading any books. If the book were any good, they turn it into a miniseries.
Wow.
Fairly accurate. And they kept calling her Weezer, and I thought that was just her last name. That is her first name. It's spelled like Ouiser.
Oh, yeah. I had no idea how to pronounce that.
Another great name.
Yeah.
And the other woman, her friend, just like low-key buys a radio station so she can do football coverage. When I rented this film, as it's coming on, Amazon's like rated whatever for like cursing and like nudity. And in a movie full of women, I just assumed it was going to be lady nudity. But no, we get a whole scene of man butts in this football locker room. Yeah. And Shirley MacLaine's like trying to sneak a peek in her mirror. Genius.
Yeah, there's a lot of football player buns. Just like it's such an egregious locker room scene, though. Just like, what is happening? This came out of nowhere.
The ending shot too, very impressive for like 1989 technology. They must have had it in like a helicopter. Mm-hmm. For your $15 million movie, you got a helicopter ending shot. That's like this long tracking thing.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, smart movie overall. The use of holidays in this movie, very well done. It's a great way to orient us as we're jumping between years. kind of giving us the milestones of these people live. But again, none of these moments feel like particularly, other than a wedding that we begin with and somebody's death, like they're all kind of small-ish moments. Like we're just kind of jumping around. And then it begins on Easter and ends on Easter, which is good for their theme of kind of life going on.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Oh.
Right? The son kind of carrying on Julia Roberts' legacy. She lives on in all of those people.
Yeah, you want to swing a little trivia I found? That the actor who was playing the son was actually a girl. They're like, they need to be it needs to be a son. Well, sometimes boys have long hair.
We got this one here ready to go.
Yeah, she passed.
Cute blonde hair.
I had no idea until I found that out.
I mean, that's it. That was really all my general notes. It's just positive talk about this movie. These episodes where we both like a movie, they're never our best episodes. But
it's great. We need to like things.
Yeah, just
we
go
need
out.
A foundation
but
to build on.
When one of us likes it and the other one doesn't, like those are the best.
Say so.
That's our greatest. Those are our greatest films. Though Fast and Furious 6, like our most highly downloaded episode by like a magnitude of 10.
Wow.
It is so wildly. I don't even know what about it is particularly grabbing people. Is that the like consensus best Fast and Furious movie?
Absolutely not. That's the like one people are like they toss off like it's okay. It's kind of ridiculous because of the like 18-mile.
Oh, that's the ridiculous one. Everything afterwards they're fine with, but this is the ridiculous one.
The ending just goes on forever and ever and ever. It's just like, how long is this airline? Like this, whatever.
The runway? Yeah.
Yeah, it goes on for a long time.
Very long
They're
runway.
fighting for like 40 minutes out there. It's just like, okay.
Yes.
They're just traveling across the world. This giant airplane hangar. Good stuff. Yeah, that movie is like fine. I rate it somewhere in the middle.
Well, what are people's favorites?
For the Fast and Furious?
Yeah.
I think the consensus is 5. Everyone loves 5. But that's good. I like 5, okay? Everyone likes
my favorite character in it.
The vault scene or whatever. 7 is my favorite.
Yeah.
I told you. My boy Paul.
Yes.
I love Paul Walker.
Well, I feel like he gets more screen time in other movies, though, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, probably. Also, the least rock in 7. The least amount of rock. You get a rock bottom, and then he's out until the end, where he drives an ambulance. Which, you know what? Less is more.
Yes is more.
Rock never knows that. That's a thing he'll never learn.
All right. So definitely go out and check this movie out.
Oh, you said, did you rent it off of Amazon?
Yeah.
Did you not have a 7-day free trial of Stars? That's what I did.
No, I had to use that for another film I watched earlier.
I immediately canceled it after the movie was over because I'm like, we're probably going to watch other movies on Stars, but I'm not paying. Oh, wait, no, I didn't cancel it technically. They were so I canceled it, and then they were like, well, I know you don't want to pay $9, but will you pay $6.75 for 2 months? And I'm like, you know what? I will pay $6.75 for 2 months, but after that, I'm done. And we'll see.
Is it $6.75 for each month, or the total of the 2 months is $6.75?
The total of the 2 months, I believe, is $6.75.
So
why not? Please stay on our thing for free, kind of.
Yeah, basically $3. That's doable.
Yeah.
Didn't you used to have? Oh no, that you had Showtime on. Oh no, it doesn't matter.
And then I got rid of it because I was never watching Showtime.
Yeah,
it was just plainly for my dad, and I'm like,
Twin Peaks was over. Like it doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah, and then I also got rid of my Paramount Plus because I wasn't really watching that. I like it for the game shows and Who's Afraid of the Dark.
Well, very soon the new season of The Good Fight's coming back.
I still haven't never watched it.
No.
I think just the whole Good Wife thing that's like looming in the background. Like, but I need to watch that, and I'm like, I'll never watch all 400 million seasons of that.
It's 7 seasons, Joe.
They're hour-long episodes, and that's daunting.
But they're so good.
I'm sure it is.
How much do I love The Good Wife? And every time I talk to people my age about it, they're like, my grandfather likes that show. And I'm like, shut up. It's great.
I heard it's great. And I heard The Good Fight is even like, is like.
The Good Fight is great in a different way. The Good Fight's just like, fuck it all, you know? And it's like very anarchistic, which is kind of like the Frasier model where you're really changing the tone of your show to keep people interested. Yeah. The Good Fight, similar to this, kind of very understated and yet very high drama, very impactful.
Yes.
Great show. I recommend that show too to your listeners out there.
Hell yeah.
But the guy from Five Bloods, I guess now maybe his big movie star guy because of that.
Lindo.
Delroy Lindo. And sadly, he'll be leaving the show this season.
That's less of a reason for me to not start to watch
I know.
it.
He was a really driving force. He had a lot of charisma. He was a big part of that show. So it'll be sad to see him go. But if he's going to do more movies, good for him.
Hell yeah.
He deserves it, despite the fact that nobody seemingly remembered the Five Bloods come award season.
Which is awful. That was one of the best movies that came out last year. Like top 2 or 3.
I don't know. Even I remember when Black Klansman came out, and that was like the summertime too. Yeah. And I left the theater, and I thought to myself, that movie might very well win Best Picture.
Uh-huh.
And then it did. Did it lose? Was that the Green Book year, or was that the year before?
That was the Green Book year.
You lost to Green Book?
Hollywood lost to Green Book.
Hollywood, that's your fucking problem, is that you like Green Book more than Black Klansman. That says it all.
Terrible. Green Book, what happened?
Then you didn't even nominate the Five Bloods?
Yeah, and like they were like, oh, but don't worry, we have a black man in the movie too. And I'm like, uh-huh. And then he got up on the stage and he was like accepting his second best supporting actor Oscar in like 2 years. And he was just like, thanks. Don't really know why I needed a second one this quickly. Maybe give it some time. He's a great actor. Mahershala Ali. And now he wants to be Blade. He's like, I've won 2 Oscars. Make me Blade. And Kevin Feige's like, okay.
I'm pushing out. I'm taking my chips to the deal, to the cash out window.
Bring it on. Let him be a fucking vampire slayer.
That Marvel money. Is Blade Marvel or DC?
Marvel, I believe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's ready to go. He's ready for his $20 million checks.
And I believe Wesley Snipes was like, hey, don't forget about me. I'm just like, wait a minute.
Aren't you in jail, Wesley Snipes?
You can't be Blade's dad.
Yeah.
Like, what? I know he's Blade, but he's like, but I was Blade first. I'm like, I get your Blade first, man.
It's not like Christopher Reeves is like, hey, don't forget about me.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, probably not. But for the 2006 Superman movie, could have been.
They didn't care who was alive or who was dead. Didn't they put Marlon Brando in that fucking movie?
No, they put him in... Oh, did they? No, they put him in the 70s movies.
Yeah, he's in the 70s movies, but he's in the Superman Returns as like some kind of hologram shit.
Oh, did they CGI him in there?
I believe so.
That's crazy.
Terrifying. I'm still waiting on that James Dean movie where they're going to completely CGI him into a movie. Great.
That seems like an odd choice. Did I tell you of the story where Marlon Brando was talking to the director of the Superman movie? And Marlon Brando was like, because they're all aliens, we don't really know what they look like, right? They're not human, so they could really look like anything. I was thinking, like, what if I were a big donut? And then the director had to go, okay, that's a pretty interesting idea. Except that in the comic books, they actually do look like humanoids, so I don't know if we can do the donut thing. But we can try with you. We just wouldn't see you very much in the film, I guess. And he goes, all right, I won't be the donut, I guess. It's a pretty silly idea. He was a weird dude at the end.
At the end? That was in the 70s. He had like 30 more years.
I count that as the end, right? The 50s, 60s, like his prime time. And after that, fat Marlon Brando doing all this weird shit, not learning his lines.
Even in
not
the
wanting to do screen tests.
A little heavier.
I know you compare like Godfather to him in Streetcar.
Yes.
Streetcar, he's like hunky Brad Pitt.
Hell yeah.
He's ready to go. He's yelling up a window. So speaking of putting James Dean in this movie, like now that we've put, right, did you see this story about Tig Notaro replacing some dude?
God, yes. Okay, so I watched that in a theater last Friday.
Yeah.
You're talking about Army of the Dead. So yes, Tig Notaro was completely like CGI'd into that movie, and it is so obvious the whole time. And I'm like, you guys didn't really hide this at all because she's not in the same scene as anyone. she's like they would like have like Batista and some girl like talking, and then they would be like, oh, and hey, you. They would never like really gender her either. They would just be like, oh yeah, you over there. I think they would call it like her name's like Jackson or something. I don't remember. And she would just be like, oh, and she would crack like the funniest fucking joke. It was just a great like just a punch up of every scene. It was the best when she would pop up. And I'm like, and she's in a lot of the movie too. And I'm like, you know what? Zack Snyder kind of technically like did his whole like Schneider cut Justice League thing. Why don't you just they remade Justice League 4 fucking times. Remake Army of the Dead and put Tig Notaro in the scene with other people. I know it was a pandemic and all that bullshit, and he was redoing the whole thing, and he's a very busy man. But she's great. She really like livened that movie up. Her and Batista, and there's a couple of other like standouts in that movie. It's very long, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah, Zack Snyder loves his long
2.5 hours is too long especially for a zombie movie.
Yeah.
110 minutes. That's what I'll give you.
Well, okay. So I guess we go to our last looks now.
Yes, last looks. Keep on keeping on, Julia. You're doing great.
Yeah, this is a performance, even though you're in an ensemble, where I could see why she would now get kind of like a starring role for her next film.
Yeah.
Makes
next
total
to
sense.
Richard Gere.
Yeah, that somebody would see this movie and go like, this woman has it.
Yes.
This woman can be a star, especially when your movie made $120 million over its budget.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's insane.
It's great.
It's bigger than 10 times its budget.
Yeah, it crushed all of her other movies combined.
Yeah. That's not,
right?
not a big surprise.
What's the other? So Blood Red, we did Satisfaction. What was the other one? I'm forgetting. We did
it
like
was a good
2
one,
weeks
too.
ago.
I know. We're so bad.
I've watched a lot of movies since then. What was the movie? Satisfaction.
Yeah.
That movie. Oh, it was Mystic
Pizza.
I don't think that one made too much money though. I think it made like 30
It made a healthy profit, I think.
Yeah.
But
I think it like
wasn't
doubled or
hit.
tripled its budget, but it was only like $10 million.
Yeah. Like I think it did really, and I bet ancillary sales were pretty good for it too.
Yeah, great.
So
good
yeah,
stuff.
definitely. And Blood Red made like $18,000. So
It shouldn't have been released, really. They should have just kept that one back.
Yeah. I don't know. Looking back, like, were they riding the Julia train? I guess Mystic Pizza was big enough.
Yeah.
Or maybe Dennis Hopper had just done another movie that was successful. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it was Mystic Pizza, and then it's technically this one, but they inserted that one like a little before.
They
It's like, a quick
that one
theatrical
in
release.
there.
Of
Fortunately,
Blood Red.
didn't hold her back because she was
you missed
barely
her.
in it.
We got it right here. You got 3 minutes of Julia.
Yeah.
We're all like, no, put it back.
Oh, that
put
was
it back.
misleading.
No
You
one
put
wants
her
this.
in all the trailers. Very odd.
I bet that movie played at like the Brattle for like a week, and that's why it made that money.
Probably not the Brattle, but maybe like
Coolidge.
cable car. Yeah, Coolidge.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that area. All these old theaters for you New Englanders there. Don't know if our California listeners will understand those references.
Fine.
Cable car sadly closed.
What is it? Hold on. I can do it. I can do California boutique theaters. I've been to a couple. Hold on. What's shit? Obviously New Beverly. What's the one though? There's one I wanted to go to. It's
I don't know. I wasn't there with you. The Aero Theater.
Yes, the Aero
I saw
Theater.
Satan Tango there.
Yes.
That was the whole day at the theater. The theater showed nothing else that day, just Satan Tango.
Is that just a one screen?
Yeah, it only has the one screen. Very bold of that theater to show that. Like, that was all they could show that day. But I'm glad they did it. They even gave us like a dinner break 2/3 of the way through the movie. They're like, we'll be back in an hour. Enjoy your food.
Wow.
Went across the street, had a pretty good salad. That was a cool theater. Popcorn was good. No free refills, though. I really like the theaters that give me free refills. Though it's probably good that there aren't many of them anymore, because then I eat too much popcorn.
Also, they need to make money because
I know.
Dying very
I do like to
quickly.
support them.
I'll find out that theater I'm talking about for next week.
Okay.
I'll get that one in.
So let's thank our audio maven, Lev Van Rensselaer, and our sponsors, Ham Taro, the only ham that you can put in a hamster wheel.
All right.
Seems fine
Sure.
to me. And of course, I'd like to thank my co-host, Joe Vekeman, for joining me this week.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
And I am your host, Patrick Scale. You can find my features, documentaries, short films, video essays, animations, behind-the-scenes footage, and now all of our audio-related stuff, including this podcast and my other at Quixotic Harmonics on YouTube. Thank you all for listening. Joe, say goodnight.
Good night.
I don't wanna lose myself. It's a whisper. It's a funny thing. We fold like icicles on paper shelves. It's a pity to appear this way.
Oh, no. Now, how will you pump blood through your body?
I don't know. Please help. I don't have much time.
All right, you can have my heart. We can do a heart transplant.
Oh, almost like this movie. There was a transplant.
Yeah, it didn't work well in the movie, though, so maybe I'll keep my heart.
Yeah, they didn't really talk about it, did they? I was getting so confused by this movie because I was just like, they're spending a lot of time in this hair salon. And then I was like, is anything going to happen? Did I miss something? And then I read a little too far on the Wikipedia and I was like, oh no. Oh no. And so then I was just aware of the next 15 minutes of the movie. And I'm like,
wait.
Oh no. And then I just got really sad.
You were reading the Wikipedia as you were watching the movie?
Well, because I felt like I missed something because everything, like nothing was happening. And I was just like, they're at a wedding and this hair salon thing is going on forever. And then I read that it was like, It was based on a play. And I'm like, oh, that's why it's slow.
Well, it says that in the opening credits too, Joe.
I can't really hear you. How can I turn you up more?
I'm not sure why you can't.
It's just quieter than usual.
Ah!
Yeah, it's good. He sounds like He sounds like Homer when he's scared.
I started rewatching. Dash lent me his Disney Plus account near the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, you started watching The Simpsons, right?
Started watching The Simpsons. Still going.
How far?
I got maybe two seasons left, not including the current season.
Wow. Are you trying to beat the pandemic before the pandemic officially ends?
Yeah, I've been doing this for 14 months, Joe. There is so much
I think you have
Simpsons.
officially, I think they're going to call it on Memorial Day. So you have to Memorial Day to finish those 2 seasons.
No.
Of some of the okay material.
What do you mean they're going to call it? Everybody's just going to be like, okay, guys, pandemic's over. And everybody's going to be like, well,
I hate to tell you, yeah, they're opening full capacity. There's a wrestling event on Sunday that's doing full crowd capacity. It's like 10,000 people.
It just feels a little early.
Yeah, you think?
Little premature.
Although
I think we could.
Motherfucker's been fully vaccinated right here.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I feel.
But I will say, I think we're overly hard on later episodes of The Simpsons.
I have been. For sure.
I think they are not as bad as everybody thinks they are.
They're just okay, though, right? Are they special?
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're fine.
They're serviceable. They're not terrible.
They're not peak comedy gold.
Yeah.
But, that's unsustainable anyway.
You did it for like 8 or 9 seasons in a row.
Yeah.
Like
you had a very strong first third of your run.
Yeah. It could have just been half, but they're like, nah. Let's kind of make it a quarter now. They're turning to a quarter.
Yeah, you had a good decade. But, still enjoy watching these later episodes. And now, because they're pretty much just get to do whatever they want because they're not going anywhere, they get to do a lot more interesting episodes.
Yeah, you were saying they started just taking side characters and just making them the protagonists in the episode. That's fun.
I mean, there are episodes that begin with their backstories, but then have to go to The Simpsons. Like, we find out the origins of Hans Moleman. He used to be the mayor of Springfield, in fact. We find out how the sea captain lost his leg and things like that.
Oh.
But then now there are episodes where it's just like we just follow Skinner and Chalmers on a buddy road trip. Mm-hmm. And the Simpson main actors just play random people along the journey. There was no need to feel like you had to put in The Simpsons. I think that, if they do more shows like that, I don't know, you get a lot of life out of it.
I agree.
So keep watching Simpsons, folks. It's, it's okay.
Still not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's not comedy. It's not the pinnacle, but most of TV isn't that great anyway. So if you're watching that, just watch The Simpsons. It's all on the same level. They keep canceling all the really great shows. Remember the Carmichael show?
Yeah, that got canceled a long time ago.
I know. Had a good 3 seasons, though.
Yeah.
Not so bad. Single Parents, I liked a lot. That one just got canceled last year.
I never even heard of that.
I know.
If it started last year, it didn't really have a chance.
I mean, that was very sad. That one had the guy, the SNL guy that was the music teacher in Community.
Oh, I like that guy. He's funny.
And it had Brad Garrett, which is why I started watching the show.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's called Single Parents?
Single Parents. Yeah, it had a good 2 years. It had a very quirky kind of sense of humor to it. And Brad Garrett, remember when Brad Garrett played Jackie Gleason in the CBS original movie Gleason?
No.
You don't remember the 2002 television movie?
This sounds so like in your wheelhouse, though.
And then I think a couple months later, they had somebody in Sean Hayes play Dean Martin and Martin Short.
Dean Martin Short?
In the CBS TV movie Martin and Short. That one was pretty good.
Fuck.
CBS was making some good movies there.
Yeah.
And then they actually, I don't know, maybe a year or two later, they had a 2-part Hitler movie that was about like Hitler's childhood.
Seems a bit too soon.
Yeah, spoiler alert, Hitler becomes a pretty bad dude.
I don't like when movies like the very topical, like when movies take a very like well-known this person is bad, and it's like, but they weren't always bad, and I'm like, no, stop humanizing terrible things. I
don't think that movie was trying to be like, hey, feel bad for baby Hitler, but it was just like, how could something like this happen?
Okay. It feels like whenever you make the bad person a protagonist, you always end up sometimes sympathizing with them, or some kind of sympathizing.
No, it was not like the young Hitler version of Hitler. There was no laugh track.
God damn it. It falls in line with young Sheldon, young Rock, and now young Hitler.
I would like the young Rock story of this, where Hitler's like on a TV interview and he's joking around. He's like, "Oh, I got a story for that." Like as he's running for chancellor, like he's got a.
Let me tell
you the story about how these Jews ruined my life.
What if it's just him directly looking to camera and painting a picture?
It's like Bob Ross, but it's Hitler.
It's exactly that.
We have to paint an angry tree. Oh no, we've made a mistake. This is a very bad mistake. We have to burn the whole canvas. Start again. Yeah, that would be the anti-Bob Ross, really.
Yeah.
Or like Mr. Adolf's Neighborhood.
Oh, God. Where have you gone? You've gone down such a dark well. Come up. We need to talk about ladies. And
it's a terrible day in the Third Reich, an awful day in the Third Reich.
Okay. Hell no.
Tom Hanks could play him, too. Be fine.
Well, he already kind of did.
He played the nice version, but now he's going to play
No, he already did.
Really?
Are you forgetting when he was in Saving Mr. Banks?
Oh, yeah. Of course I forgot him in Saving Mr. Banks. That's a very forgettable movie.
I never saw it. I saw that trailer too many times. I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah, I think I watched that after we did Wolf of Wall Street, maybe.
God, why? That movie's also interminably long.
I know. I might be getting my years wrong, but it was I watched a movie with you, and then I watched a movie with Bob, and they were both like Academy Award prospectus.
No, you're definitely right.
Okay, so
yikes!
Yeah,
what a day. That was also
Wolf of Wall
Christmas.
Street. Not a movie I'm crazy about, but much better than Saving Mr. Banks.
Which one, Wolf?
Wolf better than Saving Mr. Banks.
Yeah,
and like for such a dark version of a Disney story, I don't know why they have to make their movies so clean looking and so pretty. I don't know what your goal was there.
Their goal is welcome to our theme park.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Look at how delightful Tom Hanks' Walt Disney is.
Yeah. And then less what was it? 5 years later, they did Mary Poppins Returns. And it was a collective shrug.
What everybody was asking for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to our friend this morning about this. I don't know how it came up, but we were just talking about movies like that my kids watch, and we took Ellie to see that, and she was 3 years old, and she wanted to see it because she likes Mary Poppins. We asked her when the movie was over, because the whole time it was just a long dead stare at the screen, no laughing, no emotions at all. And then she likes to dance during the credits. And then when we were leaving the theater, me and my fiance asked her, like, did you like the movie? And she's like, it's my favorite movie. Let me tell you, she's never mentioned that movie ever. She's like, never like, oh yeah, I love that movie. Let's watch it again. No, nothing. And it's readily available.
Because she's like, no, I want to see Dick Van Dyke play with penguins.
You ready to get going?
I guess we'll do this movie. Okay. Hey everybody, welcome back to What the Heck? I was worried I was saying the wrong podcast name, confusing it with my other podcast. Okay. Hey, everybody, what?
Ooh.
All right. Just shoot me, Joe.
Go more baritone.
Put me out the pasture. Turn me into glue.
Oh.
I am the horse from Animal Farm.
Oh, jeez. I don't like that. Don't do that.